Stunning admission from Joy Reid of MSNBC as she admits she only got into Harvard because of her race.
Well, let me just be clear. I got into Harvard only because of affirmative action. I went to a school no one had ever heard of in Denver, Colorado, in a small suburb. I didn't go to Exeter or Andover. I didn't have college test prep.
Not exactly something you should be proud of. There are plenty of black people who get into Harvard on the merits. She apparently is not one of them, but it's what she says next that is particularly concerning.
But someone came to Denver, Colorado to look for me. A Harvard recruiter flew to Denver, and I met up with her at the Village Inn restaurant and did a pre-interview to get to pull me into Harvard. I was pulled in, and the schools like Harvard and Yale that I got into affirmatively.
Yes. So you have Harvard employees going around the country trying to find people of a particular race in order to bring them into the university, while at the same time going out of their way to exclude Asian and white students, and we're supposed to believe that that isn't racism.
And it was literally not saying we're going to take an unqualified person and put them in Harvard. Yes. We're going to take a very qualified person who we would never know existed and put them in Harvard. That's how I got there. That's how Ketanji got there. That's how Justice Jackson, I should say.
Gotta love how she throws in the newest member of the Supreme Court, Justice Jackson, in there. But for Jackson, it's not just Harvard. She also got on the Supreme Court of the United States effectively through affirmative action because Joe Biden said he would only nominate a black female, which again is racist and sexist. Any judge who is a male or who isn't black is disqualified for the Supreme Court under Joe Biden, and that is the kind of racism and sexism that has become acceptable in modern day America, which is why the Supreme Court striking down affirmative action at universities is such an important decision. Joy also says that she would have never been discovered had it not been for this recruiter, but that's entirely what the application process is for. None of these students would have got discovered if they didn't submit an application. She also says she was perfectly qualified, so it's not like Harvard was lowering its standards, but that is just statistically not true. Meet Kenny Zhu, board member for Students for Fair Admissions. They're the ones who noticed that Harvard was discriminating against white and Asian students, and they brought the case to the Supreme Court to end affirmative action, and of course they were successful. He went on CNN, and they tried to play the whole, oh, we aren't lowering standards by admitting different races, we're just using race as a consideration, and he shot it down real quick.
The standard isn't necessarily lowered because students are all admitted. The question is whether race can be an added consideration, a tipping point.
No,
in
the
some
standard
of
is
these cases.
lowered. The standard is lowered. The standard is lowered as student for merit admissions data shows. An Asian has to score 273 points higher on the SAT to have the same chance of admission as a black person. So the standard is lowered for black Americans.
Kenny Zhu, thank you for your perspective. We really appreciate you joining us today.
You gotta love when CNN gets called out live on air. They know these policies are racist. They know they lower the standards for admission, and they hate when people call them out on it. That's why she abruptly and immediately ended the interview. Affirmative action is even bad for black Americans because in many cases, such as the one with Justice Jackson, it puts an asterisk on their accomplishment when they would have otherwise been perfectly fine in a merit-based system. As Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas put it, ending racial discrimination means ending all of it. Now, if you appreciate me putting this video together, please support the channel by hitting that like button and subscribe, where I will keep you informed on all the big stories and news. My name's Ryan. This is News Rye. I'll see you in the next one.